Hi, my name is Michael Geyer, and welcome to Silver Dove Films interview show. I am here with casting director Billy DaMota. Welcome.
Thanks, nice to be here.
You know, I wanted a casting director because a lot of people don't realize what casting directors do and how the whole casting process works. And you are a man who has cast, I don't even know, over 80 projects, right?
Well, a lot more than that. I mean, I've cast about 80 movies, and I've cast probably 100 episodes of a show called America's Most Wanted.
Has anybody heard of that show? I love that show, America's Most Wanted. We all love it.
We got to match them to catch them. At least that's our motto. And I've done tons of music videos and commercials, do a lot of country music videos. I've done about 1,000 commercials. I don't do them as much as I used to, but just because the market's kind of gone away. But yeah, I've cast hundreds and hundreds of projects over the years.
Well, let me tell everybody who's watching some of what you've cast. Of course, we talked about America's Most Wanted. Now, as far as faith-based films, you've cast 15 for Pure Flix, I think.
That's right.
Right? But Apostle Peter and the Last Supper, that's out right now, and everybody loves that movie.
It's an incredible movie with Robert Loggia, and a great sort of, not unknown, but a great working cast that you'll recognize a lot of the people from the cast. It's a great movie. In fact, I think you did an interview with Bruce Marciano.
Bruce Marciano, yes. He plays Jesus in the film.
It's a pretty amazing piece, and for a relatively low-budget movie, has the look of a major movie. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it yet.
Only the trailer. Loved it.
But it is so well done.
Yeah.
And the acting is so great. And Robert Loggia is just, he's classic.
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
And Gabriel, what is Gabriel's last name? How do you pronounce it?
Sabloff.
He's the director, and he and I are becoming friends, and he's such a nice guy. He's doing such a great job, and he's actually directing the new film that you just finished casting for Pure Flix, right?
Rapture Road with Brian Bosworth, which we're very excited about.
That's a
Brian
great
Bosworth,
actor.
And I'm trying to think of who else is in the movie that you might know now. We're just sort of making deals, so not everybody's done in the movie. But
David White's in it, correct?
David A.R. White, who is one of the principals at Pure Flix, but is also one of my favorite actors.
Very good actor.
Who has appeared in a lot of the Pure Flix movies. He's out in one that just came out in video now called Me Again. A great sort of... do you know anything about?
No, I was just going to say, but you cast it. I didn't get to see that, but you cast that as well.
If it's a Pure Flix movie, I've cast it. I've cast about 15 in the last 8 or 9 years now. So.
Yep. Yeah. You've also got The Encounter, which has been a huge, very popular film right now. Also starring Bruce Marciano as Jesus.
Right.
Great job he did. Me Again, you mentioned.
The Encounter 2, by the way.
Yes.
Which we just shot in Thailand, is a huge action movie.
Oh, really?
With another great cast. That should be coming out soon.
And they have The Encounter with Jesus, which is nice. Right. Brother White was just on television.
Very funny, sort of fish out of water story. Now, do you want me to tell you?
No. We got Jerusalem Countdown. Now, that I haven't seen yet, but that looks like an unbelievable movie. To me, the trailer that I saw looked like it was a Hollywood big-budget film.
Right.
And I know they don't have that budget. So they did a great job.
Another small budget, shot on, I think it was shot on a 5D or 7D camera,
That's great.
But that's how you have to make movies now. I mean, people are making really great movies with great production values because the equipment is so great. If you've got a great screenwriter, you've got a great director. That one was directed by Harold Kronk, who I just finished working with on another movie called Mickey Matson and the Copperhead Conspiracy, which is a sort of a spy kids adventure we shot in Michigan with Christopher Lloyd.
Oh wow!
And
good actor.
And a few other really great stars in that. Ernie Hudson is in that one too.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have a good director and you have a good writer, and you have a good casting director, thank you very much, the movies can look really good and you don't have to spend a ton of money.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I want to tell anybody what the budget is because we want everybody to think it's a $30 million. Huge, gigantic.
Well, I'm not going to go through all of them, but let me just say there are a lot of movies that he has cast.
I like it when you talk about me, by the way. So you can
It's funny, we're all kind of like that, aren't we? Talk about me. No, me. The Wager is another one that I just did an interview with Bill Myers. Did you get to work with Bill?
I don't know Bill, no.
He wrote the book, The Wager. And then it was turned into the screenplay which they produced.
I didn't meet him, but I know the background of the story, yeah.
Fabulous guy. I love Bill Myers. And we did an interview with him as well. So that's also on Silver Dove Films if you want to take a look at that interview. Yeah. But anyway, so many great films.
Yeah, Wager, by the way, with Randy Travis, who's great in the movie.
Yes, he's fabulous. Randy's been doing a lot of great films, and he's a good actor.
He's a really good actor.
Yeah, great to watch. I really like him as well. Okay, so obviously a lot of projects. So you must love casting, right?
I love casting. Michael, I don't know what I would do if I had to find a day job.
Yeah.
I mean, a real, 9 to 5. I mean, I've been doing it for 28 years now. It is, every single project is like a new family, a new adventure. And I work on a lot of movies that are not just pure Flix movies, so I get a chance to work across the board with, in film and television. And I love the process, but I think what I love most about it is that every single movie I get to find a new group of actors. I get to meet new actors. Actors are my lifeblood, I think actors sort of get the short end of the stick in Hollywood. For me, I don't have a job. My profession doesn't exist without actors.
Yeah.
So for me to be able to help those actors and find new talent to sort of showcase them in the movies I cast is sort of the joy of my life. It's great.
That is very exciting to find that raw talent and give them the opportunity that helps propel their career.
Well, when a director says to me, "Where'd you find that guy?" or "Where did she come from?" That's our perk. That's what turns us on, It's great. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about the process. I'll give you a thumbnail on that. Basically, we put a breakdown out, and a breakdown is a job listing for all the roles that we're trying to cast. And then we get submissions from agents and managers for each specific role, and then we go through all of those submissions and we decide which ones we want to bring in for the roles. I also open mine up to a part of the breakdown service, which is called Actors Access, which lets actors actually submit, actors who may not have an agent or may be doing some really proactive stuff with their career and looking for opportunities themselves. I love it when actors submit, because it allows me to find new talent that wouldn't normally come through the agent, or that the agent might have just forgotten about. Sometimes people, with so many actors in Los Angeles, you get put on the back burner sometimes at a big agency or even a small agency, or out of sight, out of mind. So it gives the opportunity for actors to come in and say, "Hey, there's something that I'm right for," and they submit. I also do see a lot of theater. I go to all the graduating showcases. Yale is coming up, and ACT from San Francisco, and all the graduating colleges come through Los Angeles. This is the season, and they do their showcases, and we see great talent from that. I also go to a lot of acting classes. I see a lot of theater in town.
So once all those submissions come in, you're getting probably a lot of people you have to look at. How do you narrow it down, and then what happens once you have narrowed it down?
Well, I narrow it down. The first thing I do is as I go for a look, I see, because I kind of know what the director wants. The director and I and the producer usually sit together and have a conversation about what we're looking for each character. With Pure Flix, they give me a lot of latitude. So it's sort of like they tell me, just do a Billy. So what I do is I bring in the actors I know, I like, or actors that I think may fit the part. But I always look at their credits to make sure that that they've got a certain level of training, that they've done theater. I think more important to me when I look for an actor is actors that are doing theater, that are in class, more than if they've been on a soap for the last 3 years. I want actors that are actively doing things to make their career, make their talent stand out. And I think when you do theater and you're in a good acting class, that's it. Also on the submissions, a lot of times they'll put videos now, because you get the submissions electronically. So I can actually look at a little bit of their work. So I do a lot of pre-casting, sort of scanning everybody and doing a little bit of research on their resumes and looking at their reels before I decide who comes in.
And then once they come in, they actually audition in front of you, and then there's another cut. You narrow it down.
That's right. The first call, the pre-reads is what we call them, is where the actors come in and they read for me. They bring their material, they prepare it. Usually what I do is I give them enough time to see the script and see the sides, which are the material they're going to read, well before the audition. Then they come and read for me and my associate, Dee Weiss, by the way. Hi, Dee. She's great. And they come in and read for us, and we decide from that first session who's going to come back for callbacks. And callbacks are the auditions for the director and producer. So we cull it, we narrow it down between a look and a talent and all of those things come into play. We find the best, the cream of the crop, and we bring those to the director. We may see 1,000 actors submitted. We may see 30 of those So there's 970 actors that aren't getting auditions. But out of those 30, we'll bring back maybe 3 or 4 or 5 for the director and the producer. And sometimes it'll be a little bit more, and sometimes the process will be a little extended if we don't really find what we're looking for. But when you've been casting as long as I have, you tend to get a pretty good eye of what works pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And especially when you're working on a low budget movie, because you don't have a lot of time or money to do a lot of pre-casting. So.
Well, you've cast a lot of stars: Cameron Diaz, Brad Pitt, Luke Perry, Faye Dunaway, you know, Hollywood legends, Mickey Rooney, Tony Curtis. I mean, that's fabulous. So with casting stars like that, and even the named actors that you're using in PureFlix, how do you, they don't audition. So how do you get them? How does that whole process work? Because PureFlix has been hiring some fabulous actors, like Lee Majors was just in Jerusalem Countdown.
Right.
As you said, Randy Travis.
Stacey Keach was also in that too.
Oh, yeah. So how do they get hired?
Well, it's basically getting them the material. If they respond to the script, and many people respond to the PureFlix scripts, of course, but if they respond to the material, then it turns into, okay, they like it, now how much money do you have?
Yeah, make me an offer.
Right. Well, that's what you do. And because they don't come in and read, it's really pretty much, here's the script, here's the money we have to spend. And if the material speaks to them, then the money's not so important. And a lot of the actors that we're talking about here, they really don't need the money, but they would like to do something that sort of, you know, speaks to them as an artist. So if the role is a good, strong role and they like it and they respond to the material, then, you know, we make the deal. Sometimes it's just money.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be a not so great script. And I'm not talking about PureFlix, but I've worked on 1,000 movies, you know, where the scripts weren't always the best. You know, I mean, I've sort of moved out of that phase, but in the beginning, they weren't the best scripts, but you had a lot of money to throw at a star, so that's how you got a star attached. But generally speaking, it's the combination of, you know, if they respond to the material and we and the money works out okay for them, you know.
Are there any projects you're most proud of?
I think it's probably one of my first movies. Well, I did a movie called Colors with Sean Penn and Robert Duvall.
Oh, yeah.
That Dennis Hopper directed, one of his last directorial things. I mean, he's done a few since then, but before he passed away. But that was his big sort of comeback movie. And Colors was the gang member movie.
Yeah, I remember it.
And what was so great about that movie for me was it was at the beginning of my career as a casting director. I'd been an assistant on movies like The Running Man, Predator, and Commando, all the Arnold movies. I did a movie called Three Amigos with you know, Chevy Chase and Martin Short and Steve Martin, and Project X with Matthew Broderick and Helen Hunt, which was really one of her first big starring roles in a movie, in the late '80s, and I learned so much from that. But the great thing was, being on my own, now I had to make my own decisions. Now I wasn't an associate or an assistant. Now the responsibility was on me. But the great thing about Colors is it was so easy because I was working with a director who was just plain amazing. I mean, the way he thought. We would drive around South Central Los Angeles in his 1978 Cadillac Seville at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Brave.
To meet with 40 members from White Fence, you know, the 21st Street gang, you know, major hardcore gang members. But we'd set it up, we'd meet with them in the parking lot, and I was there with a Polaroid camera, you know, and they were there with AK-47s and hand grenades, you know, and in their trunks. I mean, they were proud of them. So
interesting.
So the amazing sort of cultural experience of doing that. And I grew up in you know, not in the streets, but I'm pretty, you know, pretty street savvy. But this was far and above anything that I've ever been exposed to, and it was just fun, you know. I mean, I think when it's sort of like controlled danger, when you kind of know, you know, that you're going to get through this thing, then it's a real rush, you know. And so that was for me one of my favorite cast. And also we got to cast real gang members, and we cast gang members who went on to become entrepreneurs and businessmen outside of the gang world.
Nice.
I would have people come up to me, Michael, and say, on the set, gang members say, "Hey man, I like this. I like this movie stuff. I get paid $500 a day, and I don't have to run drugs." Yeah. That's right. You can't. How do I do this? They wanted to get out of the gangs. So I helped them, to sort of find an agent and sort of move out of it. It wasn't the easiest thing for them to do, and some didn't make the transition because it's hard to get out of that lifestyle. But one guy, for instance, is now running a company called Sidewalk U, where it's a Sidewalk University, where he basically
that's great.
He takes gang members and basically not rehabilitates them, but finds them opportunities outside of the gang world. There's another guy named Peter Vasquez who now owns an extras service where they basically have nothing but ex-gang members called Suspect Entertainment. And now they're doing principal work too, where he's basically an agent for gang members now, ex-gang members, and he sells the car. I mean, he rents the cars, and he does the talent, and he does the background. And this guy's, making big bank from learning what he learned on the street and applying it to the legitimate world. So I'm really happy that a lot of these guys were able to sort of move out of it, and of course a lot of them didn't. But that was one of my most exciting and proud films to work on. I just felt like I was a real intrinsic part of the whole process.
Well, you got to be part of something that most people don't get to be part of, these gangs,
right.
That real life, and then also helping to change many of their lives.
Right.
There's nothing better than that.
That's true. That's absolutely.
I understand why you'd be proud of that.
Right.
So other than casting, what do you do outside of casting? What do you do for fun?
Well, I play in a band.
Now, is that the one you invited me to that's playing in Santa Monica?
Yeah.
Well, tell everybody when it's playing in case they see this.
I play with a band, a country band. We call it Concrete Country, sort of Johnny Cash, kind of urban country music. A Gene Butler Band is the name of the band, and we play all over town. We've played, the House of Blues, the Viper Room. We've played the Troubadour, and we're playing at a place in Santa Monica. By the time this thing airs, it'll be done anyway. But look for GeneButlerBand.com, and you can see where we're playing. But I play guitar in the band, and I've been playing with them for about 10 years. But I grew up playing music in San Francisco, so this is sort of coming full circle back to my roots.
So then life is good. You're casting, you love your job, you get to play in a band, you get to perform. I mean, it's all good.
It's all good for me so far.
That's great. Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
And if people want to find out more about you, where would they go? Give a website?
You can go to castboy.com, or you can go to imdb.com and just plug in Billy DaMota, spelled like Dakota with a capital M. DaMota, and you can, if you're an actor out there and you want to find me, my email address is at castboy.com, and just get in touch with me. I'd be happy to consider you for future stuff.
And which is great because, it's nice to have a nice casting director because there are so many casting directors who just aren't, and they're so hard to get to.
Some of them are so mean.
They are mean. I've been in front of many of them. But so thank you for being a good casting director that treats us fairly.
Again, and if I could just make this one point before we close, is that I owe my career, I owe my profession, my house and my cats and my car, everything that I have in my life is because actors have given me that opportunity. So, it becomes a symbiotic relationship. I help them, they help me, and we hope, rising tide lifts all boats, and hopefully everybody moves upward and onward. So that's why I think every casting director should aspire to, treat actors as best they can and be as nice as they can.
I agree.
Kindness is a good thing.
Yes. Well, thank you for being here today.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure to be here, and I hope I see you again soon.
Well, it's a great interview. Love hearing the casting process. I've been part of it, but I'm glad you got to hear the casting process. We have lots of other interviews coming up, so make sure you go to our website, silverdoveFilms.com, and you can opt in to our email list, and then you'll get notified every time we have a new interview. And we're in the process, pre-production, on a short film that we're just getting ready to shoot, hopefully soon. If you'd like more information about that or want to find out how you can get involved, go to the website as well and click on the link that says Get Involved. But thank you for watching.